Alright everyone, it's finally time to talk about Miss World 2024 here on the channel, and I know that I've been stretching this video for the longest time because there are just so many beautiful quality girls in this competition and there are over 100 candidates. So as you can imagine, it has been absolutely crazy to put together a top 20 pick or anything like that because I keep on changing my mind all the time and just changing rankings, and I don't want to, I'm a little OCD, so I don't really want to put something out that I'm not sure and convinced about it and I cannot stand by it. But anyways, you know what? I decided let's take away all the pressure because anyways, in just a few days, I'm going to be landing in India where I will be attending Miss World 2024. So I'll get to see them in person. So if I change my mind, I just have to make a brand new video and that's okay. So for today's video, it's going to be slightly different. Instead of just, rambling and giving you like a precise top 20, I just wrote down a list of girls who managed to catch my attention for some reason, for whatever reason, and I'll just be presenting to you guys these ladies. I believe I have 17 of them. So yeah, let's just get into it and share, my thoughts about them. But if you enjoyed this type of content, go ahead and drop a like on this video, share it with a friend, leave a comment, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow me on social media. All right, everyone, let's get into it. Alright, so let's start by talking about Miss Puerto Rico, and it is no surprise to anyone that Puerto Rico always sends consistent queens to every single international pageant. I mean, Puerto Ricans just breathe and live out of pageantry, so therefore the caliber of girls that they're able to prepare, it just speaks for itself. I think that Elena in this time around at Miss World is no exception. She embodies all of the things that I love about a queen from Puerto Rico. Has been super consistent, super focused in the competition. Just like her predecessors, I wouldn't be surprised to see her go far within the Miss World competition. Moving on, let's talk about the first country that I wanted to highlight, which is Thailand. Of course, we have our South African Thai queen, Tarina Boats, which has been making waves in the world of pageantry for the longest time. And honestly, I'm really happy to see her compete at Miss World because this girl has consistently tried her best to represent both South Africa and Thailand on the international stage. I think that Tarina is a very seasoned queen. She knows what she's doing. I think she has prepared for this moment more than most girls in this competition, although most of them have waited years. Tarina has been doing at it since a very young age. I think that she has to step it up a little bit in the upcoming competitions because sometimes she tends to fade a little bit into the background for me, which is not great, but not everything is lost just yet. Let me know how do you feel about Miss Thailand in the comment section. Now let's talk about Miss Zimbabwe, who is conquering everyone's heart with her very strong and confident look. I absolutely love her styling, and what I love even more is this girl's communication skills. If you remember, she was one of the top 5 winners of the head-to-head challenge, so she was able to impress everyone with her rhetoric, but I also like that she's a full thread and not only brings the speaking abilities, but simultaneously she is good with the looks and the beauty. And I would love to see a queen from Africa being crowned this year at one of the major pageants. I said this before, so I think that Zimbabwe is one of those really strong contenders. Let me know if you agree with that. Now let's move on to France. Of course, we all remember our Miss Universe France from 2020 who gave a good fight at Miss Universe, but this time around she is going for Miss World, and she has been waiting for a while for this competition. I even remember one of the comments that she made when Miss World was postponed at first, as in like, damn, it's crazy to me that I was crowned in like, so many years ago and I'm still yet to compete. Well, the time is here for you, Clemence. And I think that she's doing incredible. I mean, one of the reasons why the pageant fans love Clemence since the very beginning is because she's just so charming. She is very real. She's natural. I don't think she sugarcoats things too much. So she gives us a good balance of being a beauty queen, but at the same time just being a real woman. Of course, there is no questioning about her beauty with a purpose cause, the things that she has been doing, with her community, her advocacy. So those are things that also really complement the likability of this woman. Moving on, let's talk about Miss Spain. Honestly, another one of the countries that recently is excelling in pageantry. At 27 years old, she is an extremely accomplished woman, which I love to see in pageantry. She is a general doctor and a substitute pediatrician. So this girl, is very intellectual. Is one of those girls who is able to, she's a doctor, okay, y'all? I also really like the fact that going through her profile, I get to discover a little bit more of her artistic inclinations. So I really love to see a girl that is well-rounded, you know, who can have scientific conversations, but at the same time can appreciate art and just being a little bit more of a free spirit. I think that in terms of beauty, she fits very well the prototype of what normally will do well at Miss World, even going as far as being crowned as Miss World. So I wouldn't be surprised, once again, to see her go really far in this competition. Now let's talk about Miss Turkey, and let me tell you something. Alright, if you remember back in the day, right before Miss World was postponed, I made my early predictions for the at the time supposed to be competition right before the girls arrived in India. And one of the things that I said at the time was that Miss Turkey was one of my favorites. She's really one of the contenders for the crown, and I still stand by that. You will find her lower on my ranking because I think that compared to other girls, she has been staying a little bit more in the background, but that doesn't take away from her capacity and basically all of the work that she has been putting in, the outstanding beauty that she also has. And honestly, I think that the reigning Miss World is the perfect example that you don't always need to excel in every single competition to finally win the crown. I think that Carolina was only top 13 in one of the competitions during her time, and she still managed to win the entire thing. So I'm not saying that everything is lost for Turkey. I'm just really trying to base this list and the ranking in terms of, you know, performance and the things that I have been able to see so far from my end and my own research. So I'm staying a little bit conservative, but Turkey is one of the girls that I still believe, you know, can go far. All right, now let's talk about Nigeria, always giving us quality. I mean, girls from Nigeria, I've said this before, I feel like you know, in Africa, we talk about South Africa a lot in terms of pageantry, but Nigeria is a little bit underestimated in pageantry because they always excel. Nigerians go all out with the looks, with the preparation. They have incredible communication skills. Look no further than the head-to-head challenge. I mean, she was one of the girls who really made the top and who was able to amaze us, not just with the comm skills, but also with the presentation that she had and the projects that she has been working on. So for me, that is precisely, you know, like a really well-rounded contestant, very beautiful. I take this opportunity to remind what I said earlier, that I would love to see a queen from Africa being crowned this year. I think it's about time. I think that this year's Miss Nigeria will be a perfect candidate for that. All the Nigerians in the comment section, I want to see if you agree with me, okay? Now let's talk about one of my home countries, Canada. I am so happy for Jamie because I think that Jamie has been doing an incredible job at Miss World. Honestly, I got the opportunity, of course, because I was, you know, I lived in Canada for a long time. I'm a Canadian citizen. I've been following her journey. I've been following her on social media and just keeping an eye on the things that she has been doing. As you guys know, I haven't really been covering Miss World as widely just yet because, of course, there were a lot of delays and a lot of things that I couldn't really know when things are going to happen. Precisely because she's representing my country and that I've been able to keep up with her commitments and the activities and her advocacy and all of those things. First of all, she is a gender-based violence advocate. So that has been the focus of her advocacy and her work with the community back home in Canada. She's one of those girls that really gives me the perfect balance of everything. If you watched her videos and her introduction, she's really into sports. She's a really active girl. She's a lot of fun. But at the same time, you get the classic beauty and the classic grace and all of the things that especially fans of Miss World, who tend to be a little bit more traditional, more by the book, more by the rules, kind of appreciate. So I think that Jamie is just the perfect blend of like a modern girl who is fun, who is educated, who is outgoing, and, you know, all of the things that traditionally pageantry will kind of bring to the table. For me, I know that for a lot of people, she is not necessarily on the radar because Canada is not really a pageant country, but just having that little bias of me being Canadian and at the same time just seeing everything that she has been able to accomplish so far in the competition, I'm just very proud because of her representation. Now, I know you're waiting for this. Let's talk about Miss Philippines, Gwendolyn Forniol. Out of all of the girls in this batch, I mean, Gwendolyn is the one that I got to meet the closest, that I became the closest with because, I mean, got to interview her. I know her team. I know so many parts of her preparation. I reacted to her, you know, even head-to-head performance here on the channel. And sometimes people don't understand, why do you love Philippines so much and whatever. I mean, these are the girls that I really get to follow closely, that I get to meet in person, that I get sometimes to even help prepare. That was not the case for Gwen, but, you know, usually girls in the Philippines. Anyways, I'm super proud of Gwen, and if you are from the Philippines, you know that Gwen didn't always have the popular vote on her side, I would say, but she was really able to prove that the moment that she arrived in India, that she was not there to play. She has been so consistent, so focused with the looks. I see her enjoying every single moment, bonding with the girls, and just excelling in every single one of the challenges. She made the top 25 in the head-to-head challenge. She made the top 8 for Asia in the sports challenge. I think that her introduction during the opening ceremony was just amazing. That look was outstanding. And you know what? I think that Gwen herself represents a very good vision of what a Miss World is. I mean, being half French, half Filipina, and just having traveled so much, having such a diverse background. I think that more and more she's becoming a threat in the competition. Traditionally, when I make this type of picks for Miss World, I usually put her around the top 10. I am going to maintain that positioning for now, but I'm going to say that I think I'm being conservative. Gwendolyn could easily go further in the competition. I wouldn't be surprised to see her even in a top 5 or something along those lines. So let's just wait and see, but proud is real, okay? Now let's talk about Miss Peru, Lucia Arellano, one of the revelations, honestly, since she arrived in India for Miss World. Because if I'm being honest, she wasn't really that much on my radar prior to that. She's 28 years old, she's a businesswoman, model, entrepreneur, and all of those things that often, we cannot get these things often in pageantry. So I think that maybe the profile didn't stand out for me initially, but after seeing her in motion, her beauty, how she interacts with the girls, her level of performance, and I just think that she has really managed to stand out from other girls, especially in her continent, amongst the Latinas, amongst the Americas. And I feel like the general opinion has also been evolving hand in hand with those comments that I've been giving, because more and more often I'm seeing her in people's topics, people talking about her, people noticing. Again, Peru is one of those countries that really sends quality girls internationally, and I feel like they don't always get the recognition because they're not considered to be like a powerhouse or anything along those lines, but the consistency is still there, the quality is still there, and Lucia really embodies all of those things. So watch out for her, because she might be going home with a high placement, and why not even with a crown. All right, let's talk about Miss Botswana, Lesego Chombo, who absolutely nailed it during the head-to-head challenge, making obtaining one of the top 5 placements. And I really like this girl. I like her vibe, her comm skills, her beauty, very natural, very authentic. So for me, no questions asked, she is one of the standouts of the competition. She has a background as a practicing attorney, which honestly, it kind of shows the way that she defended herself in the head-to-head challenge. It was like, you know, just eloquent, precise, and very impactful. So that's something that is very reminiscent of an attorney for me. Just like some of the other girls, she has that mix of science and law, and then also she loves sports and art. So absolutely a full package. One of my emotional favorites, I'm going to admit. So let's see. I'm really excited to actually get to India and see her in person. So let me know if you share the same sentiment. Moving on, let's highlight Miss India, Sini Shetty. One of my early favorites from back in the day, even before it was announced that India was going to be the host country for Miss World. So I'm just happy to see that she is living up to the expectation. Before we go any further, I have to highlight how amazing of a host candidate she has been. India, all of the girls seem to having so much fun and, you know, experiencing new things, discovering the country, the culture, the food. And, you know, a big part of that is not only the host country and the organization that is welcoming them, but also the host candidate, the lady who is representing the country. And I feel like Sini has just been amazing at that. She is currently pursuing a career in finance as a finance analyst. So, I mean, beautiful girl, very eloquent, very kind, and at the same time, very smart. So what else do you want? I mean, the crown could be easily for India. If it is, I will be so happy. And you know, sometimes people say, oh, there's a bias because the host country, if it crowns the, you know, the host queen. No, I feel like Sini has proven herself over and over again to be a consistent and really quality candidate. Okay, I think we're finally getting into my top 5, and number 5 goes to Colombia, Camila Pinzon. Such a beautiful girl. I mean, when I think of a Miss World, it's kind of this look that comes to mind, if I'm being honest. Super polished, super eloquent, super elegant, super regal, Everything is on point with her styling, and I feel like she also carries herself as a Miss World. She was one of the girls that I thought had really great communication skills, especially coming from, Latin America, where English is not the norm. Sometimes it can be a struggle for some of the girls, but I actually don't think that this is a problem for Camila, because she studied both at the Sorbonne and Cambridge universities and completed 3 degrees, as well as learning 5 different languages. So talk about being able, being capable, and just being good at everything. I think that it's no denying that Camila is a force of nature. And I think that honestly, she's one of the really strong bets for the crown, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's able to take it all back home. Let's wait and see, and I'm also going to wait until I see her in person to make, kind of like my final prediction. But at this point in the competition, I'm pretty confident about her. Of course, we couldn't make this list without talking about Miss World Czech Republic, who also was one of the biggest fan favorites since the beginning of the competition, and honestly, understandably so, because arguably she is one of the most beautiful girls in this entire batch. Some people have been saying that, she's also from Europe, she's also a blonde, so it's kind of like a back-to-back for Carolina. I mean, 2 blondes, 2 Europeans, maybe not. I honestly don't think this will play a factor in the outcome of Miss World 2024. I think that they're just looking for the most capable girl to continue elevating the brand, because honestly, I feel like our reigning Miss World from Poland came to the organization during a very tumultuous time. It was really rough. Everything was, going downhill. I think that Czech Republic might be the girl for the job in terms of the similarity with the reigning Miss World, but at the same time, just being her own individual. I mean, she is completely herself, different advocacy, different projects, different purpose for this entire thing. So of course, I don't feel like sometimes the comparisons with the reigning Miss World are fair. And all throughout the competition, she has showcased that she is able not only to compete, but also to stand out. So let me know if you agree, but for me, she is one of my bets for sure. Number 3 on the list, we have Miss Trinidad and Tobago, Ache Abrahams. Honestly, one of my favorites as well, because this girl exudes simplicity. I like that about her. She is so beautiful. She could, allow everything to go up to her head, but she is very kind, very simple, and I feel like very relatable in a way. She's only 24 years old, so super young. She works as a model, social media marketing manager, speaks English, Spanish, and representing Trinidad and Tobago. There's a little bit of pressure. If you know, you know, because Trinidad and Tobago, although it's a tiny country and a lot of people don't even know where it is geographically, they are powerhouses. They are really, really strong in pageantry. They really send every single year candidates that are able to stand out, to really bring attention to a country that for so many wouldn't even be able to point out. And I feel like that's exactly what she has accomplished so far. For her to be able to be up there in the top predictions and just go against like absolute powerhouses in other countries just speaks volumes about her capacity. I like that her bio not only talks about her current state and the things that she's doing, but also her aspirations and what she would like to accomplish later in life, mentioning that she wants to go to become a motivational speaker, and why not a TV presenter. So that's something that I always encourage every single girl who competes, every single boy as well, to know what you want to get out of this. And I feel like Ache just feels prepared for it. She's kind, she's beautiful, she's eloquent, she has the ambition, she has the background, the purpose, all of those things. So why not? It is time for Trinidad and Tobago. Crown my sister. Alright, now let's talk about Miss England, our scientific of the batch. We all know that this girl has been standing out for all of the good reasons. I mean, just being in the industry that she is in, the background that she has. If you haven't checked it out, just go ahead and do so, please, because it's just a lot to cover. But I just want to mention that, in terms of the background, she is definitely one of the standouts of the competition, if not the standout. It is truly impressive, her resume and the things that she has been able to accomplish at such a young age, especially in a male-dominated industry. It's just out of this world. On top of that, she has also really excelled in being able to stand out all throughout the competition at Miss World, which already showcases, that it's not just the background and the brains, but also this is a competitive girl who is able to keep up with the job, who is able to present herself really eloquently during the head-to-head challenge, who is ready to give everyone a run for the money during the sports challenge. I'm waiting for, the top model competition and such to see how she performs in those rounds, but up until this point, it is undeniable that she's one of the girls to beat, if not the girl to beat. One of the things that I did mention, however, as like constructive criticism, is that she needs to learn when to adapt her speech, her rhetoric, her terms, the concepts that she's explaining, because sometimes she can speak with a very academic register, which is not always accessible to everyone. So it's important for you to know your crowd, especially if you are a Miss World. You're not always interacting with, academics. Sometimes you have to adjust so that your message is clear and accessible to everyone. So that's my only concern about her. But other than that, I think that she is crown ready. So I don't know if Julia Morley is on the same page as me, but back on my previous topics list, she was my number 1. Now at number 2. Let's see what happens. Let me know in the comment section if you are rooting for England and if you think that she has what it takes to be the next Miss World. Okay, and finally the time has come for me to present my number 1 pick, and that goes to Miss Lebanon. I'm so happy, so proud to see Jasmina make a comeback at Miss World after her stint at Miss Universe in 2022, where she also got to represent Lebanon. And this time around, although she was always a very prepared, capable woman, this time around she's coming with a different vibe. There's something so real about her. There's something so authentic. There's something so genuine that you cannot take away from her, that I love it. Because, of course, she's now at Miss World. She went to Miss Universe. She is beautiful. We all know that. We know that she's capable to bring performance. We know that she's able to capture our attention with her looks. We know that she's eloquent. But I really enjoy how she's able to talk about issues that for a lot of people might be taboo, that a lot of people might not even be able to kind of tackle because they would be scared. She's able to have open conversations around those topics in a way that is very respectful yet very eye-opening. The perfect example about this was during her head-to-head challenge, where she was quite literally breaking down and crying, but at the same time never lost control of her speech, of her rhetoric, of the points that she wanted to make, of the impact that she wanted to have. But she allowed us to see that kind of really strong side of a woman, while at the same time showing the vulnerability and showing that sometimes all of the things going on in the world, it's okay for us to be affected. It's okay for us to feel vulnerable, but what are we going to do about it to change it? And for me, that was kind of the selling point around her. I feel like right now, no pageant has a title holder that is that vulnerable, that authentic. Everyone tries to keep a certain image. And, that's good up until a certain point, because pageantry should also represent, everything about womanhood. And I think that being vulnerable and just caring about stuff, it's part of that experience as well. I think that it's even more impressive that she was able to accomplish so much in life. She is a student and a host of her own TV show. She went to Miss Universe, now at Miss World, and all of those things only at 20 years old. So I think that I'm really rooting for her, because this is a woman that could not only give a lot to the Miss World platform, but also simultaneously benefit a lot from it. And I think that a perfect win-win situation will be for both parties to be able to grow and learn from one another. And for me, this is just like a match made in heaven. So let me know, you guys, what do you think about my comments, my list, the girls that I talked about? Maybe if I skipped someone, let me know as well. I'm really excited because, as I said, in a few days I will be arriving in India for Miss World. I know that there's a lot of questions about how am I going, the tickets and everything, so maybe I'll do a separate video talking about those things. But in the meantime, I just want to hear your comments about the girls as well. Thank you for watching, and see you guys on the next one.